Hi, welcome to the 6th video in our Step Up Your Practice series. This one's all about composing using both Studio One and Notion if you have the Music Creation Suite. There's lots of cool things you can do using a MIDI keyboard with Notion and Studio One where we can actually learn to compose, but also compose backing parts or additional tracks that we can practice along with. So I'm going to show you some basic features in Studio One and Notion so you can get started. So let's start with Studio One. So now we're over in Studio One and I have a blank song file. In the Browse menu, I can select Instruments, and I have lots of instruments I can select from. So I can make my keyboard sound like pretty much anything I want. We're going to start with an Electro Grande. Drag and drop. It shows us the sampler, and we can of course click to hear the sounds. Or I can play them on my keyboard. Now, make the file a little bigger. Just like recording with the AudioBox on the M7, we record on our track, we set our metronome, and we play whatever our heart desires. Or I'll play a single melody. You can play in anything you want, and because it's all recording, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Just play around and have fun. You'll never know when something happens, and you can always just take that and delete what you don't want to keep. So, let's go ahead and play back, and here we have. Now, in the editor menu, we can actually edit some of this MIDI data. So we'll double click or open the edit menu here. Now I can of course make this bigger. Now we can select some notes. We can select a whole bunch of notes. Now I can take this and just by using the arrows on my keyboard, click up and down and easily transpose it. And it tells me the pitch over in the menu on the left. So from here I can change a couple notes, move things around, put them all back. Notice it all references in the keyboard to the left, so I'll always have a reference of where it's going to be. So now let's move over to the single data and let me show you something cool. Let me go back to the edit menu. Notice that some of these didn't quite line up because I wasn't hitting these keys all at the right time. Now in the Quantize menu, notice that it actually tells me the note value of this grid. So when I scroll down here, notice that measure 5, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, it actually has 4 divisions per beat because we're in 16th notes. I'm going to change this to 8th notes and notice that it gives me 2 divisions per beat. So we can actually see what that looks like. Now, notice that my timing didn't exactly line up. So what I can do is I can highlight all these notes and go to Quantize. What this is going to do is going to snap all these notes to the nearest beat. So let's Quantize, and bam, everything's lined up. Oh, there's 2 over here, so let's grab those and get them set as well. Now we're perfectly lined up with the metronome. Now, notice the lengths of the notes. These are a little bit short for 8th notes. If I want them full value, I can just edit them out full value. So you have complete editing control now. So when you're composing using MIDI in Studio One, you can get exactly what you want and always do some corrections later. Of course, we can have any instrument sound. We can actually take another instrument sound and put it over top of this. So if I want this to sound like, let's say, a harmonica, I just change the instrument and now, gotcha. Let's probably go back to the grand piano. But everything's drag and drop, so you can audition different sounds. You can play as many additional tracks as you want, so you can add as many instruments as you want and compose just by layering and layering and layering. Now, this is MIDI data, and we'll learn more about how to export and save this in the next series as well. But one cool thing I can do here is I can cut out just this section. Because this is MIDI, it will actually open in Notion as notation. So I can take something I've composed in Studio One and bring it into Notion and see what that looks like as notes. So let's try that. I'm going to start by right-clicking, and I'm just going to export this to a MIDI file. So I'm going to put this right on the desktop so we can find it. And I saved that section as a MIDI file. Now, we're going to go into Notion, and we're going to import that MIDI file. Go to Desktop, go to our test, open it up. Notice it looks very similar to what you saw before, and this is in the sequencer menu. So I can easily either select all, and I can go into the Tools menu and convert to notation. Now it shows exactly what I played. And then of course I can go ahead and make this look like more of a regular score, and we can go from there. I can also change the instrument. Notice it picks up the same instrument, but if I go into my score setup, I can make this instrument sound like anything I want, even an alto sax. Notice it automatically transposes it for me and plays it back. Very cool. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and compose in Notion. It's pretty simple. Go back to my score setup. I can add any instrument I want. So we can add, let's say, a horn, flute, guitar. Just select any of the instruments you'd like to compose. Let's throw some drums in there. Exit score setup, and you're ready to compose. You can obviously just select a note value and place it anywhere you want. Let's make this bigger so we can see it. Like this, or we can play notes in using our keyboard, which is a lot simpler. So we're going to go into step entry. We're going to start here. Now I can select any note value and just play it in on the keyboard. Notice at the bottom how the highlighted keys, they're showing me the acceptable range for a flute. When I switch to the saxophone, it changes. So if I'm composing and I don't really know what the range of a saxophone or a trombone or a violin is, Notion helps me out with that. So we can go back to our flute and we can just say we want to play quarter notes, and we just play them right in the keyboard. Or I want to play some eighth notes. Or 16th notes. Now notice I made a little mistake. So what I can do is just fix that very easily by selecting the note and just hitting delete. Pretty simple, and we can always zoom right in and out. And there you go. So as far as composing in Studio One or Notion, you have lots of tools to notate, play, record, and share your music. In the last video, we'll talk about how to save and share all of these files so you can collaborate with your friends with what you're doing in your home practice. So join me for video 7 in just a sec.